Hi everyone, it's Michaeline with 3 AM Grace Designs, and today I wanted to do a short video on the front and back of your work, counting rows, counting stitches, and I'm going to cover what I use for stitch markers. Okay? Alright, so when you do our colors, we sometimes say to have the front of your work facing you or the back of your work facing you. So it's pretty easy for us. Our front is considered with your starting tail on the left, on the bottom left. That's where your starting tail will be. And that is the front of your work. If it's on the right, this is the back of your work. You can also tell the front of your work if you look real close here. You can kind of see where you have like the front of your starting chain right here, and it does look different than the back. You don't see that on the back. So if for some reason you had already weaved your tail in, you can always tell by finding this little starting chain right here. Okay, and these little loops look different than they do. Well, they're not even on the back. Okay, so that's one thing. Okay, counting rows. This was, when I first started crocheting, this was pretty tough for me. You see how this little square has like a pattern going? You can kind of see like horizontal lines going across. Well, with single crochet, like one of these lines is actually 2 rows of single crochet. All right? Now you'll see down here this bottom one, your starting one. It looks a little bit different and a little bit smaller than these other horizontal rows. This is 1 row, that's your starting row. So like to count the rows on this little panel, what I do is I count the horizontal lines, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and times that by 2, and that's 16, 17 rows on this little panel. Okay, and do that again. So you can count by 2s if you want. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17 for this very first one right here. Can you guys see that? Let me show you on another piece also. It might show up a little bit better. Look here on this super secret project we got going on. It might be hard to see on this, but you see how it has like horizontal lines? Each of those lines on single crochet is 2 rows. All right? Okay. So counting stitches. Counting stitches, some people count like the stitches on the front. I don't do that. I count what I call like the V's, okay? So let me turn this around. So can you see those like V's on the top? It's easier this way. So each of those like V's right here is a stitch. So for this particular one, I count these, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 stitches. Okay, it is a little hard to see. I have another little piece I started here. Can you see it there? See the V's on top? Like literally like on the top. Okay, so I just have, I think I have 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10 right there. Okay, another thing I do is like when I also started first crocheting, getting my rows here to all line up and be all nice and straight and even was definitely a challenge. So stitch markers are your friends. I'm going to show you how I use mine. I know there's always a big debate on what's the best stitch marker. I use paper clips. Paper clips are easy to put on. They slide right over my hook and they're easy to take off. There's no clipping or unclipping. So after I chain 1 and turn my work, okay, I take my paper clip here and I slide it over the end of my hook okay, and I let it drop over that chain, okay, and then I start my work. Okay, and I do my 10 single crochets across it. Alright, so then I chain 1, turn, take another paper clip, and I slide it over my hook and let it drop down onto my work. See that? And then I start again. Now let me show you how it helps you at the end. Let me finish this row. Okay, so I'm getting ready to be in my last stitch here, and it's like, well, where is that stitch? Well, when you pull your paper clip up here, you can just put your needle or your hook right beside your paper clip, and that is your last stitch. And you always know where that last one is. Chain 1. Now I can slide my paper clip off and put it back on. So keep going across. So sometimes my work looks like this, a bunch of paper clips, but it definitely helps me keep my rows straight when I can't, especially if I'm working with black yarn, because you know that's always our friend. And sometimes you just can't see that end stitch very well. Oh, I guess I should have talked about this when I was talking about rows. You can always do a row counter, but if you're like me, I forget and then I second guess myself. So it's up to you. You can either learn to count the rows, you know, like by the method I showed you, or a piece of paper, or a stitch counter, row counter. All right, I hope that helps, guys. You have a good day.